stream. That's not why you want to go viral.
We'll see. Oh. Oh dear.
Shit, no matter which way I turn it, there's a brand. Deal with it, guys. There's no Disaronno in this. It's false advertising.
Is it false advertising?
It is gin. I'm having gin and juice.
Yes, I am off-center. You are correct.
Commenting on political... No, not going there.
Warm honeyed tea and a flux capacitor. I wouldn't do well with a warm honeyed tea. Everybody who knows me, or who's spent time around me, knows that me and hot drinks tend to not get along well. I am uncouth. Oh boy.
Somewhat warm milk with some honey in it.
I mean, I guess. I mean, this is embarrassing enough as it is. We're also running a little low.
On?
On mods.
Oh dear. It's okay. My hammer isn't far away. I can wield it.
That's okay though. It's okay.
Yeah. We'll be fine.
Just checking. I haven't had any messages from them, so I don't know where they are. But that's neither here nor there. I've been inhaling Swedish meatballs all day. I have some frozen IKEA meatballs in my freezer.
I have no meatballs.
His patch is gonna get laid. Is that how we're just throwing it out there?
Puke, 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 puke.
I mean, I guess that's why people tune in.
Yep. That's it. Just for damn ships.
Live in midstream, the player wearing latex ears.
They're like rubber of some sort. They're actually headphones. Secrets revealed.
See, you could get away with wearing those. I could not.
Because you're a dude?
No, because I don't have the hair to conceal the seams.
Yeah, I would have to put makeup on my very red ears to conceal it better.
Yeah, you would. But, hey, you've got hair. Why not use it?
You've got hair.
Yeah.
As opposed to dad's. Or male.
Well, see, I wear these as a matter of course. I don't have to. I could, if I wanted to, try to make it so that I could have my speakers up just loud enough that I could hear, but without the mic picking it up. But I tend not to do that. I enjoy this specifically because it makes it easier for me to hear everything, including myself, in the microphone. I am monitoring myself, so... I used to have ears, which I would wear, especially when I was running Changeling LARPs, but alas, that was a long time ago. Hi, how have you been?
Good. Working. Working's important. Making money. Ding.
So pretty, I need no hair. You and I have different definitions of need.
That's what hats are for.
No, I will not hatfish.
Hey?
So you're aware of catfishing?
Yes.
So hatfishing is when in all of your photos and all of your appearances you wear hats in an attempt to convince people that you're not balding.
Oh, no. I just mean if your head is cold, you can wear a hat. Sorry. Canadian here. It was cold enough outside this morning.
As if I'm not?
I should get my gloves out.
I just don't mind the cold. Does that make me more or less Canadian than you?
More. You have more Canadian blood.
I do have more Canadian blood. And I've lived in Canada longer than you have.
Technically. Stay down there long enough and that'll change.
Cool Imp, once you start becoming bald, eventually you start to embrace it, and then you realize that your best bet is to just let it go. As in, like, not let it go, but to let go of your hair. Comb-overs and the like are not really the way to go anymore in terms of fashion. It's better to just...
No snowflake emote. Alas. I will not let it go.
So we're here as a bonus session.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that we only have one player here, but it's a player that we enjoy, so we will accept this.
Does it actually have my name down below?
It does.
Yay!
It does have you. In fact, the layout for when I only have one player has changed so that you look quite a bit larger than I do. You are spotlighted. Or you could just shrink.
No. Let's not do that.
So this is still on the day of Pennons, which was October 4th. So we actually streamed Pennons before it happened, and then all the bonus streams are when after it is actually supposed to have happened.
Pennon sandwich.
Do you want to catch people up on what happened just before we start?
Okay, Pennons Festival. Lots of people, lots of little fighting rings. There was an archery competition, and then there was a marksmanship competition, which Patches won the pennon for. Then there was wrestling, which Braum competed in, but came second, except the winner was a werewolf, so she can't get a pennon, only changelings. So Braum got it by default. Default. And then there was the Grand Melee. Braum did not quite make it. He got really badly hurt. And it was 0 on the 1, right? I think so. And then afterwards, after the fight, Sophia went and magicked the water so it would heal, and sang a song with Talus. Talus is a satyr. Music makes people let go of their inhibitions. So when Granville asked Patches a question, she leaned in and, like, held onto his arm and with her other hand, like, interlaced her fingers with him, and she answered his question. And he squeezed her hand in response, so he didn't pull away. And I believe that was when we last saw Patches.
So Bubblehead asks, werewolves can't win pennons. Missed that part that's not so cool. I would point out that werewolves exist outside the neo-feudal system that changelings have in Concordia at this point, so they are not eligible to win pennons because they're not actually part of changeling society.
They wouldn't have anywhere to fly it.
That, and also using Falling Touch is cheap.
Yeah.
As a gift, that's super cheap.
Yeah.
But we do what we can. If anybody has any questions, now's the time to ask. Otherwise, we'll get started. I see Bobblehead as a modernist. So, changelings have essentially 3 kind of camps that they fit into. You'll have the traditionalists, who believe that the feudal system is very important to changeling society and therefore will continue to defend it. You have the reformists, who believe that it's time to inject a little bit of these newfangled things called democracy into the existing system. And then you have modernists, who believe that the system should be torn down and replaced with something else. Thank you for the miming. That helps. So, in general, changelings kind of fall along one of these 3 ideas. Very traditional people tend to be traditionalists, but even reformists and even some modernists could be a part of the system even if they believe that it needs to be changed. You'll find, though, that modernists tend not to do very well at climbing the ranks of nobility. Torn or burned down. Oh my. Oh my. And no, I don't think Patches would be a fan of the Green Bay Packers. I don't think Patches is actually a fan of American
what
football.
Americans call football? Yeah, no, they've got it all wrong. That's called handball. It's actually called rugby, and they play wimpy rugby because they put on armor. Whoops.
I don't send the police. I am the police. But then again, I'm also everyone else, so.
And Dr. Claw.
Dr. Claw.
What? I think. Anyway.
I also like how right now on Twitter, just because I was making sure that Twitter was open so that people could see this, some people are trying to tell LeVar Burton that he's never experienced racism before.
Let's just not get into that.
Yeah. But anyway, it just amused me.
Like, have you followed him around every second of his life? No? Then you can't decide whether or not he's experienced something.
Patches probably watches The Ashes every year. It's very possible that she watches The Ashes. The Ashes is a cricket match between England and Australia. And the winner gets to hold on to...
I don't ever understand cricket.
Yeah.
Anyway, no cricket at Pennons.
So cool input. In fact, I am breaking my own rules, so I'm going to leave it out of there. This isn't a place to discuss railroad politics. This is a place to discuss weird, crazy fae politics.
Marvelous.
So...
I was joking.
At any rate. Let's get started, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Sophia and Talus indeed do finish their song. Patches makes her move. And as I had mentioned just before we stopped, Duke Granville let his other hand shield the two of theirs, and he replied by squeezing his fingers slightly together. The song ends, and the following happens. Sophia starts getting into a conversation with Incisor, which Patches cannot quite hear.
That's fine.
And Braum is being helped over to the water by Zeron.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to disentangle myself and tell him that I will see him at the ceremony with a little bit of a half smile.
With a little bit of a half smile?
Hashtag a half smile.
What's a little bit of a half?
A smirk. A little curl at the corner.
A curl with the spiral? So where do you go? He nods and he returns the half smile.
I'm going to, seeing that Braum's being helped and that Sophia is busy, I'm going to do another scan of the audience and try to check in on Cog one more time.
May I have you roll perception alertness? Difficulty 8, and if you botch, I'm just gonna let it go.
Okay, it's not like the world's gonna end. Alertness. Oh, I do not have any dots in that. That's okay, I can still roll.
So, Marvelous, if that's actually the correct way to pronounce it, or is it Marv Alice?
One success.
One success? Commoners can get titles via marriage. They don't always, and it's sometimes a question. Like, for instance, in England right now, to get back into real world politics, Camilla is probably not going to be declared queen when Charles takes the throne. Specifically because there was already a duchess before her, and she was given a title in order to make it proper, but they already did that for Diana, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She's also a divorcee, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So she will not inherit that title of queen. In much the same way, depending on who you're getting married to, why and how and where, you may or may not earn the title in the eyes of the dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
Marvelous. Ah.
Derp. That makes sense. Now that you say it.
I think it's divorcee that's the issue. I don't remember.
Anyway. I get one success.
One success is not enough to notice, but you do notice... Okay, so you do notice that Incisor keeps glancing behind Sophia as she's talking to her, but it's not clear to whom.
I'm not in an angle where it's obvious. Yeah, great.
Yep. You do notice that she keeps kind of doing that head tilt thing, but it's not clear who she's looking at.
Well, I'll probably just assume that she's keeping her eye on some trouble, doing her job, and I'm pleased with her performance today. She'll get a good note in her annual review. Wait, what?
She'll get a little star next to her name on October 4th.
Maybe.
Cog. Cog is currently watching around, waiting for the ceremony, and poking a little bit at his modified Nerf weapon.
I'm gonna walk over to him. Is it giving you trouble?
No. No. No, it's not. I was just making sure that it still worked. It has a habit of falling apart if it's used too often.
That's fair. Could look into... I mean, I guess you still want to be able to modify it, so you don't want to glue things down. But you could get some thread tape, like like plumbers use on pipe.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to say I'm really happy you came.
I'm happy I came too. I didn't do very well, but I wasn't really intending to.
Well, is this your first Pennons? Well, there you go. You competed on your first Pennons. Look at all those people in the crowds. They didn't lift a finger. Already won over all of them. I think you did well, and...
How many Pennons did you have?
Just this one. It's my first too, but...
So the difference is that you won.
As a sniper.
What?
Tell you another time.
Wait, what?
Not actually.
Roll me your manipulation subterfuge.
Oh, I like having it open on the screen. This is so helpful. I could flip over to it, or I could just look. What's the diff?
6.
Oh, cancelled out. Non-success.
So he doesn't... You can tell that he doesn't believe you when you were like, not really. But he lets you go.
Actually, I wasn't...
Or you weren't leaving, you were just...
So... I wanted to also ask you, if you've noticed anyone that you saw in the lobby the other week that's been here? Because I realize we haven't followed up on that. If you've noticed them, or if you do notice them, let me know, okay?
Okay.
You're welcome at the Spark. Anytime.
I still have to go to school and stuff.
I don't mean spend your life here. I mean drop by before or after school when you feel like it. Stay in school. It's good to have a life outside of here.
School's kind of too easy.
Ever thought of skipping a grade?
I don't think they let you do that anymore.
Well, I knew a kid actually who cheated by taking the provincial exams during the summer. You know, when you failed, you can take them again. Instead, they just took next year's exams during the summer. You can hack the system if you wanted to.
Yeah, but then everyone's gonna hate me.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't so good socially for them. True.
Well, hey, you're doing all right now. You just won Pennons. Yeah. I thought you were talking about yourself and just calling yourself your friend.
No. I wasn't that book smart. It's better at the doing than the thinking. All right. I think they're about to serve dessert. Go grab some.
You don't have to tell him twice, he's gone.
Teenagers think with their stomachs.
Excuse me. So you're just standing around now?
Observing the ground, seeing if there's any trouble, seeing if people are okay, making sure the people who got injured are at the pool.
Now Sophia's talking to Kyoko.
Cool.
Zeron and Braum seem to be getting along quite well.
That's good. I'm hopeful. That's good, actually, specifically because Zeron said he knew Braum, and Braum doesn't seem to be having one of his freak out attacks, so that's good. Realizing what's going on with Talus's music, I'm just gonna quickly see if anyone's fornicating in too obvious a place.
You're pulling a Snape wandering around after the Yule Ball?
I guess.
No, everyone seems to be maintaining their composure. There's flirting going on, but also an awful lot of binge eating or drinking. But so far, everybody seems to have held on to themselves somewhat. The presentation of Pennons is... we didn't actually play it out in either stream. So I'll just let you know what sort of happens at that point. Duke Granville gets up. He congratulates everybody who participated. He specifically congratulates the winners, of whom there is you, Braum, Zeron, and...
Kenwin won the archery.
Kenwin won the archery, right. And each of you goes up to collect the pennon, which is basically presented to you almost, like those folded flags?
Yeah, in a little triangle.
Yeah, so they're presented to you in that way. When Granville offers it to you, do you do anything specific?
I urge to indulge my grotesque nature now. This is an important event. I'm going to avoid doing anything too untoward. Just say we'll be proud to fly these pennants on these grounds for all to see.
So he nods, and it's only soon afterwards that kind of the ceremony breaks up and it just ends up devolving into a party.
All going according to plan. I hope Sophia is pleased.
Incisor has since picked up the Clericon who she kicked out previously, who seems to have somehow returned, and is kicking him out for a second time.
What a troublemaker.
Kyoko has left the grounds. You notice her go to the elevator, and she pushes the up button instead of the down button.
I hope Sophia's dress is okay. It looks really sparkly.
Her dress looks fine. It's illuminated currently.
Maybe she forgot her slippers or something. Kyoko needs to stop being so servile. Make a note to talk to Kyoko about not having to be so servile in the future. What's Claude up to?
Claude's still inside. He's organizing the food being passed out in the drinks.
Handling the task.
So as you approach him, he glances off at the direction of the elevator and then just shakes his head slightly and continues to pass drinks out.
Going well?
Oh, it's going fine. Everything is organized as it should be. Are you okay? Everything okay with you?
Yep.
You got your flag?
Yep. We've got 2 flags for the freehold.
Look at
More
us.
flags than we've ever had before, I would assume.
I always knew we were special.
You're doing a good job today, thank you. We wouldn't have been able to do this without you.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I know.
Okay, that's enough. And then I turn and leave, but I do say that out loud.
He shakes his head again and goes back to what he's doing.
Did we have a guard at the elevator to downstairs?
Yeah, Granville's still hosting
His guard.
a few people.
I'm gonna ask them, make sure that no one's been in or out of the downstairs.
No, it's off limits.
Thank you.
Hey!
Hmm?
Dat booted PC.
Oh, did we get a... Oh,
JT has
nice.
successfully booted.
Yay, congrats JT, I am pleased. Take turns, but help yourself to some food.
Oh, Talus has been making sure that we've been working in shifts.
Excellent. Thank you. And, gonna sort of meander back out into the garden, not knowing what the hell to do at a party with all these people. I'm not working.
Sophia has now found herself a little bit surrounded by fireflies of different colors. Soon
That's fucking
afterwards, she actually heads back into the exhaust.
She didn't take a selfie? Her Instagram level is not as on point as I thought it would have been.
You actually can't take photographs of the dreaming unless you have a very, very specific camera.
Okay, never mind.
That camera is the
Back.
equivalent of a level 3 treasure, I think.
Okay.
Talus is still playing. He's not singing, but he's still playing on the riser that you put into the lake.
I head over to one of the farther stages and start folding up chairs. Probably the archery one, which is the least in sight of the current festivities.
It's only about 60 seconds of you folding up chairs before you're approached by a quite dapper looking troll. He's clearly dressed not for martial matters, but for he's got the red and silver of Fiona on him, and he bows very slightly.
Pardon me. I incline my head.
Hello.
Can I
Your
help you?
Patches, right?
Yes.
I'm Squire Jonas.
Squire 2?
Okay, so in Changeling, Squire is a title that just means it's like the
Oh,
lowest level of
Good to know.
you being in a
Thank you.
house. You aren't necessarily Squire to someone.
I
You
was
often
like,
are.
I'm not noble. Skip the chapter.
Yeah. You you often are squired potentially to someone, and
Yeah.
you definitely
Okay.
have a noble or a you're a vassal to someone else. You have a
Okay.
liege, but it's not necessarily that you're squire to a knight.
Okay.
I was sent to ask whether or not there would be a place for you to go over if there's anything else required of Duke Granville before the end of the evening.
He could, if he want, we could meet in my office.
Of course.
He can just ask Claude, who's at the bar inside, if he doesn't know where it is.
I'll ask, and I'll guide him there.
Thank you.
And he walks off. At this point, Sophia is now gone. Braum is now having some words with Kenwyn.
I resist the urge to cause trouble. Sophia, especially without Sophia there. I'm going to put him on the blacklist for next event, though. That's for sure. So I'm gonna head to my office and
As you're heading
Think
to
of
your
an ex-
office,
think of an excuse for showing him the balefire.
as you are heading to your office, you pass by Incisor, who's having some quick words with Claude in sotto voce.
I'm just gonna. Nope. I'm just gonna cut right in. Everything okay?
Yeah, everything's going just fine. Do you need anything?
No, keep doing what you're doing. Thanks for kicking out that Clericon again.
Yeah, I'll have to do it like at least 3 more times tonight, I imagine. He's not doing anything that involves my making permanent arrangements, but the little prick's just being kind of a... No.
Brick?
Yeah.
Alright. Try to enjoy the food and drink and festivities if you can.
Food, drink, and festivities are doing just fine.
Talk more another day. And I head off to the offices.
So when you get to the office, you see that the Duke is sitting in one of the guest chairs, just sort of looking about, and he's quietly amused at some of the things, such as like the sign that has that constantly updated status on it. And he looks up when you come in.
Welcome to our shared offices.
It might
Is
not be the
any
Sorry, go ahead.
Is there any business you wish to attend to? We can deal with that. Otherwise, I thought perhaps you'd like to see our balefire.
It's been a moment or two since I last saw it. I'm not normally the one who collects the tithe. Sure, I'll be honored to see your balefire. And he rises up in one smooth, elegant motion.
And as we cross through the lobby towards the elevator, I'm gonna be like, "Ah, yes, I've heard that his workshop is rather well renowned. I'm sure he would have loved to show it to you himself, but I'll do my best." Excuses as we walk through the lobby.
Zister hasn't exactly been an easy vassal of mine, but he always delivered. As you're going by, you see that Jonas, alongside a Slua also dressed in red and silver, look up, and he just nods at the two of them as you head into the elevator. The guard stepping aside, recognizing you as one of the freeholders. So, the music, or the squeaks, I should say, that play on the way down, what's this for?
I'm just listening for what ridiculous song it's going to be today.
Stacy's mom starts playing as it heads down. And the Duke isn't quite sure that he's hearing what he's hearing.
It squeaks in a different tune every time. I didn't know Zister terribly well before he got up and left. I'll have to ask him about it someday.
I can't imagine that he would have been the type to deliberately create such a device.
No.
When the door opens up, you see that little one is in the atrium where the keypad is in the opening to the workshop. And the Duke looks at it and blinks.
You're the Duke.
And the dragon immediately walks over to where Patches is and just starts turning circles around her legs.
I'm not in a position to lie to you right now. There's a baby
I would like to
dragon
think
here.
you're not in a position to lie to me at all.
Of course not. It's not the kind of thing that I'm the most suited to be telling you about, however. We were instructed to tell no one.
Now the dragon's trying to put her head under your hand, kind of like that self-petting thing that some animals try to do. Is it?
She reached down and pick her up.
So
She was
picking her
left
up
in
is
my
still,
care.
that's like picking up
Yeah.
like a good,
Heavy dog.
yeah. You can lift her though.
I'm strong. 2 dots. Strong enough. So I was mostly leaving it up to Sophia and Braum to figure out how to relay the information.
Is she dangerous?
No, she's quite tame. She seems to breathe some amount of cold, so she isn't about to burn the place down, at least.
And you keep her down here?
Don't know how she got out. That's an interesting discovery. I'm gonna walk over to the keypad.
Bloop.
Dungeon, please. Patches.
Eh.
Packers.
And then the room starts to rotate as last time.
You're getting the full tour.
You keep her in the dungeon.
That's where she was.
Dungeon now accessible. Packers.
Gonna head into the dungeon.
Packers.
The elevator squeaks. The security system calls me Packers. There's a lot of broken things in this place.
So when you get to where the dragon has been normally kept, you can see that it's popped all of its leads off.
Mm-hmm.
And the nest is sort of a little bit lopsided.
And the actual door to her cage, or her cell, or whatever.
Open.
Do I
Just
see
open.
any signs of damage, or
Nope.
how did you get out? Damn it, chat. Damn it, chat. Look, there's a whole lot of people upstairs, and you may want to join the party, but some of them would really want to hurt you because they don't like dragons, and that's not very fun. We don't want you to get hurt. So you're gonna have to stay in here, okay? We'll figure out how to get you out more often. I'm gonna scratch her under the chin. Put her down in her nest. Go check the computer.
The computer notes that the dragon has not been on. It hasn't been recording anything from the dragon in approximately 4 hours.
Are camera feeds logged somewhere?
Yes, but not from this panel. You'd have to go to Kyoko's office.
Kyoko's not here.
Well,
Right.
not where you are currently.
Nope. So I'm gonna close the cell, lock it, and from... I'm not
I need to
carrying-
ask you a few questions.
I'm gonna tie like a really good knot around the door in addition. Yep, let's head back out to the sitting area.
You're going to go to one of the rooms where the balefire is accessible?
Yeah.
So like one of the bedrooms that's down here?
Yeah.
Did you bring the dragon to Heart's Light?
Nope. It was here when we were given ownership.
Does anyone else know about this dragon?
Only the people who live here and know you.
Did you squeeze my hand?
I did.
Why?
I'll admit that perhaps there wasn't the best first impression caused by your overeager assistant the day that you gave us official ownership of this freehold. However, when you showed up with the equipment at the top of the tower, I think I saw at least one aspect of what brought you to this station.
I wish I could say that was true, but in some ways it can be very easy. To be a duke, you simply have to be lucky. Learning to be a spotter, that's a lot harder.
It is.
I never advanced beyond... You didn't come here to listen to my stories.
I'd be interested to hear them sometime.
What are you interested in?
Kate smile, not Patcha smile. Seeing what other surprises you might have in store.
You're aiding and abetting a dragon. I'm no Kenwyn. I'm of the
Thank
House of
fuck.
Lions. And you're certain that no one else knows about this dragon beyond those who live here?
Now that she got out, and I don't quite know how, and I won't know until Kyoko returns from wherever she went, I can't be certain. But to our knowledge, that's the state of affairs.
You don't have any designs on raising this dragon as a weapon?
No. I mean, I'll admit that the thought of her growing up and being her ally has crossed my mind, but I know nothing about dragons. I had no plans to have this freehold, much less everything that's come with it.
All right. This is what's going to happen. This was a lovely penance. And it seems like at least some of the winners deserved it. Lady Sophia has finally started to expose the spark, something that I've been trying to do for a very long time.
With tonight's success, I think there'll be parties every chance she can get.
I want to see all three of you at Heart's Light when it's convenient, and we will discuss this. In the meantime, you're to tell no one, and you will try to do what you can to make sure that it doesn't escape again. But we'll do this carefully. I will also ask you that if anyone else asks, especially anybody from Quebec City, that you deny everything.
Yes, sir, I know how to take my orders.
This isn't an order.
This
is a suggestion. The meeting is an order. Does that make it feel better? I don't like to
one way or another.
I don't like to order people unless it's necessary. You'll find that power isn't very effective the more you use it. Do you enjoy being the one giving orders?
Nope, not my position, not my rank. I prefer doing being given a general assignment where I can follow my own guidelines.
Would you prefer to have that door locked?
Which door is he referring to?
He's inclining his head towards the door of the room that you're in.
Yes.
Because you're curious about surprises?
Because competence is intensely attractive. And I get up and lock the door.
So, Patches gets up. Door, closed, locked. You can still hear the balefire, and very faintly you can still hear music and talking and general merriment, but it's very, very faint. Not everybody could have taken that shot. And not everybody's... Go ahead.
Been able to without you.
Not everybody was brave enough to take this one.
I'm going to lean in.
Is that like the lean in, like how the women breaking the glass ceiling leaning in? It's a popular book. Never mind.
Okay. Sorry.
He doesn't waste time trying to... Sorry?
Nor should we, but go on.
He doesn't waste any time making his intentions clear. But he stops short. He places his hand just at the xiphoid process, which is actually down here. I forget what this one is.
Collarbone. Let's just go with collarbone, shall we?
Fine, the collarbone. And just presses Patches very lightly until she has her back against the wall close to the bed. But he's not holding her.
No. She's willing to see where he's going.
What would you like?
I haven't thought terribly much about what Patches would like in such a context.
But you're thinking about the context specifically.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to figure out, get into her head. Oh, damn it, chat. I can't. I'm minimizing you.
Are you looking for...
and making noise.
Are you looking for a knight?
I hadn't thought beyond it. So long as it doesn't lead to complications.
You do know what house I'm from.
Hmm?
You do know what house I'm from.
I do.
If we're not going to be discussing the dragon that's in that room, perhaps we shouldn't be talking at all.
I would agree with that.
Now he presses harder. After a while, you actually have to make a decision. Are you planning on staying the night down here next to the balefire?
I would actually ask him, do you wish to be our guest this evening, or should you return to your... should you return to your... own home?
Right now. And he props himself up on one shoulder. Right now, I'm only thinking about what happens in about 15 minutes.
And I'll let them know that, I'll let your attendants know that you'll be staying as our guest.
They know.
Do you require anything between now and 15 minutes from now?
Do you miss it? It was an easier life in a lot of ways. Somebody being there, always knowing what you had to do because it was someone else's job to tell you what to do.
No, I think it drove me nuts. It was good structure when I was young.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes. I don't think they're going to understand the way that you would. That when I came to the roof with those materials, I knew what I was doing.
Would you ever like to continue any of that training?
I have too many responsibilities here.
Even the reserves demand too much time.
I have a responsibility to every single one of the Cathane who live here. And when I considered going back, that's when Eloise took over.
Who's been scarce around here?
Well, she lives in Quebec City. I can't imagine that she would spend a lot of time down here.
I guess I haven't heard of her making many decisions regarding us.
I don't... He shakes his head, and then he turns over a bit, and he just leans his face in. Do you mind if we not talk politics for one night?
I could not talk politics any night if you'd rather not.
It's a luxury I only get every so often.
Just let me know and you can have it anytime you want.
I can have it anytime I want.
I have no great desire to talk politics. So if you want to hang out, shoot some clay pigeons, and not talk politics, I'm your gal.
I think I'd rather just have fun right now.
Trying not to be too presumptuous. And then she leans in and presumes.
And I think that's actually about as much as you're going to accomplish.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's it, folks. There you go. The official score for Pennons is 2-0.
Like,
Braum
has
didn't get anywhere.
Got 3 points because Patches. Wait, yeah, because Patches and Kyoko and Sophia all 4 rounds because Patches had 2 rounds. 4 points.
I just wonder how this is going to go.
Probably terribly. No, I don't know. I think. Okay, here, guys. Here's little Patch's backstory. This isn't the first superior officer that she's had dealings of this nature with. She knows how to handle the situation.
Braum's off polishing his steel. Oh my.
No, I believe we finished with him inspecting Zeron's steel.
Do you guys have any questions, either about what just happened, or if you have any suggestions for I don't see how, but a non-official play of the game? Meanwhile, I'll ask Kate what you learned this time around.
I learned that Duke is going to at least tolerate, for now, our having the dragon. And that Patches is that sort of introvert type that if she knows someone, she can talk to them, but if she doesn't, she just doesn't know what to do. So Big Crad was like, I'm gonna go talk to the person I know.
Okay. Is Patches pregnant? So.
No? I mean, I know this isn't exalted with Moon Tea and the Valeria who had selective conception, but when it comes to relations and the dreaming, is there any particular ruling for it?
So I'll say this first of all, Bobblehead. The answer to that question kind of depends on a lot of things. Players in my games aren't allowed to demand to become pregnant, but I will never impregnate a character without their players' knowledge, or at least tacit permission. A player's allowed to say, hey, if I get pregnant, that happens, and then find out later, but I'll never impregnate a character right off the bat, unless I was going to warn the character, like, you realize that if you donk a duke, it 100%, it always happens. Magic sperm. Valeria did have selective conception, real brick wall.
Yeah, it was hidden for a long time on my character sheet.
Yep.
But
Marvelous. Why would Patches have to be trans? Why couldn't she just be bi?
Yeah. Or yeah. Maybe mixed terms.
Bobblehead, I'm using your joke, which I realize was a joke, as an excuse, because this is still technically an RPG clinic session.
Like, whether is it based off of something in the dreaming, or is it based off of like what you're doing in real life? Pregnancy risk.
So, in terms of pregnancy, there's in certain Kith books you'll actually see notice of what it's like to pregnancy for some. Specifically, Kith book Puka will mention it, because there's the concept of like, can you get pregnant in your animal form, and then
what's a baby? Yeah.
A lot of it is left up to GM discretion. Yeah. The answer is that it can be dangerous to conceive a child and then just stay in the dreaming for the next 9 months. Because it isn't a child, a baby who's born can't have a banality level above 1.
Yeah.
But you're also essentially potentially guaranteeing that your baby essentially is born into Bedlam.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple of different. I said Incisor was straight last regular section. I said what if she's straight? I didn't say that she was. I don't think.
I took down a note that she was straight as well.
Oh, did I? Oh.
I think she said I'm straight, but but not that straight.
She said
Or
I'm
like-
straight, but not that straight. Okay.
Or
Yeah,
I'm straight.
that
but
makes sense.
No
Sorry.
one's too straight for you.
What she
something like
said
that.
is not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
I didn't
but
realize
I guess
if I'd-
that's why that would explain the trans comment. So now I understand what you were
Yeah.
getting at.
So that explains that. I didn't ask because I was like, oh, you're being insensitive and wrong. I was just like, I didn't understand the question. Okay, so the answer to that is inches depends on a lot of things. It depends on patches. It depends on incisor. And you can totally be straight identified and then hook up with somebody of the same sex.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I would say that's the definition of I'm straight, but I'm not that straight.
Yeah.
I'm straighter than an arrow, but no one's too straight for you. There you go.
Tethered to my desk. I would powder my nose. That's okay. There will be a time where Patches, if their relation continues at all, there may be a time where Patches stays over to his place, and then I will apply.
Remember that you're also Patches does have metamorphosis.
So she
Using
can-
Metamorphosis 1, she could transform herself into a male version of herself.
It's true.
Gender bending is pretty flexible in Changeling.
Meanwhile, I was thinking like, oh yeah, I can make things grow or shrink. Not right now.
Isn't she already doing that?
So yeah, any questions for us guys?
It is in theme. In general, it's actually considered a... so in Changeling, I don't know if they actually mentioned this in 20th edition. 20th anniversary, I should say, not 20th edition. But in general, Changelings tend to be a lot more liberal when it comes to sexual relationships, specifically, gender assignment, gender roles, all of that stuff, because more freeform and less affiliated with banality.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that Changelings are like, all Changelings are pansexual all the time. That's not what that means. Just that they're more accepting and also more willing to experiment.
Yep.
Anyway, Sail's just going to keep playing.
I dropped a die and I'm trying to pick it up.
There's a die on my floor that I dropped during the bonus session before, and I still haven't picked it up.
There it is. Oh god.
Well, folks, it looks like we know now what happened in terms of Pennons. I'm not going to say whether or not everybody made fantastic decisions during these Pennons.
I didn't know about the dragon. Might not have gone down there. And yet.
Drop dice come alive in the night. Thank you, Kate,
Thank
for
you.
joining us today. You have a stream tomorrow, don't you?
Most likely, yes. I will stream 6 till 8. Probably more Dungeon Keeper. Because that's what I've been catch-up-cating through.
Friday, we've got Punchy, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. You can find that over at Elizabeth's channel, and I'm sure that she'll post about it in about a moment, straight up right in there. Saturday, we've got Story Saturday. Is that still a thing?
I believe so.
And then
I don't know.
Sunday, not the shortest RPG clinic, actually. Sunday, there will be a new session, day 7 of Changeling will happen. Full session with everybody there. And we'll look forward to it. Either way, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys.